Four men convicted in Houston area armored truck heists. Defendants Mark Anthony Hill, Nelson Alexander Polk, John Edward Scott and Benny Charles Phillips, Jr. sat stoically as a federal judge read the verdict guilty on all counts. None appeared surprised. On the other side of the courtroom, the mother and brothers of slain security courier David Guzman, 25, sat motionless as they took in the panel's decision from the front row near the jury box. Prosecutors believe that Redrick Red Batiste fatally shot Guzman from a distance August 29, 2016, as he was stalking an ATM at a Wells Fargo branch at US 290 in Hollister. As the courier lay, Batiste was killed by law enforcement officers during a shootout in that confrontation. U.S. District Judge David Hittner said a sentencing date would likely be set in late June. The jury's 7 women and 5 men deliberated for 8 hours after hearing 2 weeks of testimony and multimedia evidence on PAR with a prime-time police procedural. There were code words, the intensity set in early in the trial when Hill's wife was accused of trying to sneak a razor blade to another defendant. Polk, Batiste is also suspected in deadly robberies dating back to 2015, including the fatal March 2016 shooting of Loomis security courier Melvin Moore, who was gunned down while refilling an ATM at the J.P. Morgan Chase but this month's federal trial focused on a spree that began with the sniper-style slaying of Guzman and ended 3 months later with the failed robbery attempt of an Amagi Bank of Texas branch on Imperial Valley Drive on December 7, 2016. Defense lawyers Polk's mother, Yvette Polk, said by phone Friday night that the trial was tainted from the beginning. "I just feel like the case wasn't justified. It was very unfair." Brittany Polk, the defendant's sister-in-law, said she also thought the judge was unfair and that prosecutors pushed jurors to take leaps of faith based on the accounts of defendants who'd entered into plea deals. Defense lawyer Michael DeJuran said his client, Scott, showed great respect for the court and jury during the entire trial. Though disappointed with Hill's lawyer, Neil Davis III, said he planned to appeal and would continue fighting to prove his client's innocence. He said his client, David Cunningham, who represents Phillips, said he was crushed by the outcome. He said Phillips, Hill and Polk were accused of helping to facilitate the deadly heist in August 2016. Surveillance video. Prosecutors argued, based on cell tower data, that Hill was the lookout for that operation and that Polk, his nephew, drove the getaway car. According to witness testimony, in the weeks following Guzman's death, police learned from an informant about Batiste and obtained court permission to wiretap his phone. The lead FBI law enforcement then set up a trap. They, too, when the robbery crew moved in to steal the rental vehicle, police began tracking its movements. The in-car surveillance. Hill was convicted of being the lookout man, Polk was found guilty of being the getaway driver. Phillips was convicted. Family members recall Guzman as outgoing and friendly, the eldest of 5 boys. His mother said he, querido hijo, hermano y amigo, it says. Beloved son.
Raindrop, drop top, smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.